Good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you're watching me today, my name is Peter. Welcome back to another episode of Invest with Peter. So today I'm going to be, releasing this video quickly before tomorrow, Thursday, when the GDP is going to be coming out. So now what we need to understand today is the FOMC meeting has been held today and they came out with 75 basis points just as the market has predicted. So that's why you see the green in your portfolio today as well. So my name is Peter Ads. If you see me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, like, and put your comment down below. So quickly, let's go into what Jerome Powell actually highlight today. So if you see me looking down, I'm actually looking at the point that I've written down to explain to us today, because these are the issues and these are the things we need to understand and on how to move our portfolio around and to forecast what's probably going to happen in the stock market. So the first thing he said, so let's go there quickly, I don't want to waste the time. So the first thing he said, is about the 75 basis point, reiterating that 75 basis point is what they're going to be doing, and that is what they have approved for this month and all that stuff. So he said and markets, because of that, markets start rallying because market has actually predicted 75 basis points. Some analysts were saying 100 basis points, but guess what? Market went green because it's been predicted. So market is always forward looking. So, and also they said they committed to bringing down inflation to 2%. At this point, US inflation is at 9.1%. That's what June CPI came out from with. So now we need to be looking at the July CPI numbers, which people think is going to be, a bit lesser compared to 9.1. They are looking at maybe 8.8% or something like that for the July CPI numbers. So, but imagine Powell saying they're going to be bringing down the inflation to 2% from 9.1. That's a lot of work to do. So he made mention of that they are checking the data. So the data is going to be telling them what they're going to be doing. So he also said about the pace at which they're going to be raising rate is going to depend on the incoming data. So if data coming very hot, then they're going to go alongside. So it's going to be proportionate to what is coming in, for them. So the data will determine how high or how low they're going to be raising rates. So that's what he said. Another point they mentioned is they're going to be looking at the labor market, right? So because they're going to be looking at the supply and demand. I just finished watching the whole conference now. That's why I'm just putting out straight away, giving you my subscribers the important information. I actually highlight the old thing that I need to discuss. Major thing is he spoke about. So that's why I'm actually saying it now, I'm giving it out now as soon as possible. So now he said the labor market, they are looking closely at labor market, the demand and supply issue, which is really affecting the cheap production and all that stuff. So, and they're actually watching it closely because that's the major reason why inflation is going up like that. So looking at that, so he said Fed will not hesitate. Yeah, that's what he said. He said Fed will not hesitate to raise rates higher if necessary. So just like I said earlier, he said if the data is coming in very hot, they're gonna go along with the data that is coming in. So expect it to be higher if the data that comes in is quite high. So he said they can see some evidence of slowing down in the economic activity. So just as we are watching it, they are watching it as well. They are watching the labor market and the stock market as well. So the data that is coming out, they're actually seeing it and they're actually looking at it and trying to put in their data, reference to what is coming in from the from the report and all that stuff. So as a result of that, Nasdaq actually went up today more than 3%. So let's move on, guys, because I've got some points to talk about and I don't want this to exceed 10 minutes. So another thing he mentioned, he said they're gonna be they see rate increase up until 2023. Guys, this is where the issue of recession is going to be coming in, because if they keep raising rate, so that means they're going in aggressively, right? So if they go aggressively, it's going to really bring us close to recession. It's going to force recession on us. I know they know what they're doing. That's why they put there to do what they're doing. But notwithstanding, they bringing just increasing the rate up until 2023. Goodness me, that's probably going to bring in recession. Whether it's going to be a light recession or a deep recession and all that, I think that's going to bring us into a recession. If that's what, but he never made mention of recession. He said at this point, the economy is still doing good. They don't see a recession at this point, but that is not justifying if he comes in the nearest future. So that's why I say, because he said, and the data they're looking at is for the September data. Yeah, he said they will be, updating us by September meeting, how they're going to go about it, because, but they see themselves raising rates up until 2023. So they didn't say, Jerome Powell never mentioned anything about how high they're going to be raising rates in September, but he said the September meeting will actually determine how long they're going to keep on raising rates. So the data that comes in will make them to set aside or decide what they want to do going forward. So now that's going to tell us, so the July and the August CPI is what we need to understand now. People are saying July CPI is going to be lower than the June CPI. If it happens like that, then August lower again, then they could probably slow down on their on the way. They're gonna ease the gas on the hike, if you get what I mean. So they're gonna ease the gas on the hike and probably bring it down to 50 basis points. So the data will determine what they're gonna do. They're still pointing to the same thing. So okay, he said there's limits to an option to fail to restore the price stability. So they said, well, the price stability is their major thing they're looking at, because stability is what's going to ease the inflation and all that stuff. So he made mention of that again. So apart from that, let me check my notebook again. All right, so just like I said, Jerome Powell made mention that U.S. economy is not at this point in a recession. The U.S. economy is not in a recession at this point. But guess what? Tomorrow, GDP is going to be coming out, and we'll be talking about what we need to be looking at for GDP numbers that will be coming out tomorrow. So we're going to be looking at this data, because that's going to tell us if we are currently in a recession or we are heading towards a recession. So the first thing with the data we're going to be watching is domestic demand, right? So demand and supply, how people are getting what they need or what they want and all that stuff. So labor market, we're going to be watching the unemployment data. We're going to be watching housing as well. The numbers, these are the major data we need to be watching. So numbers going to be flying in tomorrow. So these numbers will actually tell us if we are going through a recession or we are actually heading towards a recession. So, well, these are going to be the indicators that will tell us if recession is here or not. So, right, guys, that's the summary of what he said today. Still reiterating that they are still going to be raising rates up until the data changes. So now let's move on to the earnings report. Microsoft reported yesterday. Google reported as well. All these company, big company, data company, this company, cloud companies reported earnings yesterday. I just want to make mention of the Microsoft one and the Google. So Microsoft 1.90 billion. That's the actual, but expected was 52.45 billion. So it means earning anyway, but that doesn't actually reflect today, because Microsoft was up today, and everybody was just jumping in, because what the market actually expect is what the market has. So now people are just jumping in and buying, but I'm not going to be buying at this point, because until I see the data that is coming tomorrow, the GDP data, that's when I'm going to be buying in. So, and overall revenue was up. Microsoft overall revenue was up 16%. Cloud services was up 40%, and Xbox sales went down 11%. We all know when recession is coming, or when people are thinking or predicting recession, people start keeping their money in the bank. They won't be spending. There will be lesser spending on buying gadgets and all that stuff. That's why Xbox sales went down for Microsoft. But overall, I think Microsoft is going to do well, because they got their revenue from all different part of the world and all that stuff. So Microsoft will be right. Then Google parent reported your quarterly sales of 69.69 billion. Estimated was 69.87. They barely missed. So any came in at 1.21 per share, lower than 1.27. So just like we said, Google actually, they've been predicting these as well, that they're going to be, there's going to be issue in the future, but market was not shocked. So regardless of that, they're reporting negative, but still the price share, the price of their share is still actually going up. And today, after market today, which is the Wednesday, Meta is going to be reporting, and that's another big one. Then before opening tomorrow, Amazon is going to be reporting, and Apple as well will be reporting. So these are the things we need to be watching. But at this point, I'm not buying. I'm just waiting on the GDP number. Just like I said, the GDP number will tell us, because if we actually go into a recession now, I expect the market price, the stock price, to go down. So all the gains we have today is going to get wiped out by tomorrow when the data comes out and all that stuff. So that's when I'm going to be buying as well, because this market is not, it's like a choppy market where it just like swing and all that stuff. So that's how I'm going to be playing the game. And I said, if you're smart enough, well, you won't be jumping on today, because today is not for those who want to be buying. You just take profit. Today is a profit taking day. So as for me, I will be buying when the data GDP number comes out, not when everything goes green. So, well, if you see me for the first time, my name is Peter. That's it for today, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, like, and put your comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.